What is going on, guys? I'm going to talk about what I think is the biggest surprise gun for the Pacific Theater update. We're talking about the Jungle Carbine. This is the second weapon that's made it into the meta class for our big update. It shows up under the bolt action carbine section. Now, this is a category with two guns that have had a unique type of ability for them. And on one end of the spectrum, introduced new ways to play for the meta class, but also new ways to play on the battlefield in general. But because of these additions, it didn't quite maximize the potential of the carbine because there were other features of the gun that were prioritized over the basic ability of the carbine itself. For instance, we had the Commando Carbine. This was not only the first carbine for the meta class, but was also completely new in the sense that it was the first silenced weapon on the battlefield. This was and still is the main feature for this gun. However, due to the silence ability, the muzzle velocity for this weapon was extraordinarily poor. Even with its high velocity bullets specializations equipped, it still felt like the shots took forever to make it to enemy players. That plus the more than 2 shots it took to finish off enemy players at around 75 meters or further had you having to play very close quarters with this weapon. So with its slow muzzle velocity on top of already having a slow rate of fire means you had to headshot your opponent every time, which was only the really big other main feature for this weapon, was that you could one headshot enemy players. So if you're either going to get headshots all the time, or if you're going to take advantage of the silent nature for this gun, was only really the main purpose of using this weapon. The M28 Contrambosino was the second carbine to make it into the meta class. This time around, the silenced nature of the gun wasn't there, allowing the weapon having more reasonable muzzle velocity, plus not having such an extreme damage drop-off from the further range battles. However, that's about where the gun stopped, because it too had a special ability to it, which was a grenade launcher. So when it came to the specializations, instead of doubling down on the carbine nature for the gun, it doubled down on the grenade launcher, making it more powerful against tanks, giving the meta class something new they could finally use to contribute against tank battles. Now, this is not to knock on any of those guns, it's just the reality that because there were additions to those weapons, it didn't really allow the carbine nature of the gun to really stand out, which is kind of a big deal. We had just come from Battlefield 1 where medics were the class that had carbines connected to it, but DICE wanted to mix things up and give the medic class some more superior close quarter combat weapons, and gave the medics the SMGs to dominate those close quarter battles, in hopes to making it easier to revive teammates on the battlefield. Since then, medics have been waiting to see if they could relive the glory days of Battlefield 1, playing a bit further back, picking off players by those means, and then charging in with their smoke grenades to revive players on the front lines. Unfortunately, due to the focus of the previous weapons I mentioned, not directly on the gun itself, hasn't quite allowed medics to play the old Battlefield 1 way until now. The Jungle Carbine is finally the weapon that is being what it is, a carbine. This takes up the full attention of the gun, finally bringing something to the medics that can hold its own consistently in those mid to further range battles. Stock, you'll notice the Jungle Carbine beats out both guns with its damage, allowing you to get those 2-shot body kills a bit further now. However, you will see its control dip off compared to the other carbines, but that's a trade-off you're going to get with the improved muzzle velocity. The gun comes stock with a muzzle velocity of 500 meters per second. This beats out a 400 meters per second Commando Carbine, and that's with its high velocity bullets specializations equipped. Without that, it's a 350 meters per second, which was done on purpose to bring its muzzle velocity to more subsonic speed, making it hard to hear on the battlefield, hence the silenced nature of the gun. Stock though, the Jungle Carbine has the same 500 meters per second muzzle velocity that the M28 Contrambosino has, but unlike the M28, doesn't have specializations that are focused on other things than the carbine nature for the gun. You see this glaring at you the moment you pull up the Jungle Carbine specializations, with the high velocity bullets being one of the first specializations you can equip. This moves your muzzle velocity up to 570 meters per second, making it not just a 2-shot body shot more reasonable across the map, but now consistently getting headshots as well. Another really nice perk is the 10 rounds this gun has. Yes, the Commando Carbine with the extended magazine moves its ammo up from 8 to 11, but you'll be lucky to get more than 2 kills without having to reload with that gun. The Tromboncino, on the other hand, was a little bit more reasonable with its damage output, but it only has 6 rounds to it. The Jungle Carbine, though, has enough damage, good muzzle velocity, and enough ammo to really be effective on the battlefield. It's really 2 downsides compared to the other guns, with, of course, not having the silencer or the grenade launcher attachment. Is 1, its control, and 2, its rate of fire. It has a slower rate of fire out of the other 2 guns, but I don't see that being too big of a deal since you can actually stay further back with this weapon. So because of this, when it came to its specializations and after choosing the high velocity bullets, I went onto the right side of the specialization list and chose the custom stock, which improves accuracy and aim fire while moving. Because of this, I couldn't choose the machine bolt, which would have moved my rate of fire up to 95. It still would have been slower than the other carbines with their machine bolt equipped, but I wanted to improve the accuracy because now the Jungle Carbine begins to compete with its accuracy to guns like this self-loading rifles and bolt action rifles for the recon class. It actually beats out all the self-loading rifles with its accuracy, all while having a significantly more ammo capacity. And being able to get that one headshot kill, in my opinion, makes it pretty impressive compared to those self-loading rifles. Of course, there's a downside of choosing the Jungle Carbine over the self-loading rifles. The 2-shot range for the self-loading rifles is much more impressive, and they do have a higher muzzle velocity as well. But like I was just saying, they cannot get those one headshot kills that I know a lot of people wish the self-loading rifles had. It actually makes you rethink choosing a bolt action rifle over the Jungle Carbine. Yes, the range for the damage of the sniper guns is far better. You'll have better control as well, but the Jungle Carbine's accuracy does compete. And even though it has worse control, it makes up for by having a higher rate of fire compared to the sniper guns. But I think the biggest thing to note is you don't have to leave aiming down sights after each shot, something that the bolt action rifles have to do. With the Jungle Carbine, you can continuously aim down shots and fire your gun over and over again. This, as well, being able to get the one headshot kill, it's like having the best of both the bolt action and self-loading rifles all in one gun. Now, this is nothing new. This has always been there with the carbines for the medic class since the Commando Carbine came out, but it definitely feels new because now there's a gun that can actually do it well. Going back though to the Jungle Carbine specializations, I had to choose the light and stock, and then I did something a little bit different. I chose the enhanced grips that allows your hipfire to be more accurate over the quick reload. I might change this later on, but my reasoning was now that I can play further back with this carbine, I should have enough time to reload. However, with that said, it's not a sniper gun, so I can't play too far back, and at times I may find myself in close quarter combat scenarios, and hip firing this gun might be needed in times like that. Plus, when it comes to choosing optics for this gun, I was using the 2-time a lot, so zooming in on someone who's in those close range scenarios was a little bit of a pain, so I thought maybe hip firing would work a little bit better, and I did find some success using this specialization, but yes, maybe the quick reload is the way to go. It's the increased bullet velocity for this gun that really pushes it over the edge and makes it a solid weapon on the battlefield. So if there's any specializations that you should be choosing from the list, it's the high velocity bullets, because in my opinion, that's what helps the gun out a lot, and something that the M28 Con Tromboncino didn't have the luxury of. Even though it had the same muzzle velocity as the Jungle Carbine stock, because it focused so much on its grenade launcher for its specializations, it didn't take advantage of increasing its muzzle velocity, something that the Jungle Carbine specialization has done. So that is really a big plus, and it's why you want to make sure you have that specialization equipped. But when it comes to the optics for this gun, like I was saying, I was using the 2-time mostly, but I think the 3-time can be used just as much. I think it will help you maximize the accuracy for this gun and take advantage of this one headshot kills. That is really a big perk for this weapon. But this gun, in my opinion, was a big surprise to discover on the battlefield. I mean, we knew the M1 Garand was going to be a beast. We knew the Browning was going to be pretty interesting as well. But what was really surprising to see is this carbine on the battlefield. Now we really have a true carbine weapon, in my opinion, for the medic class. That is really a huge game changer. But let me know you guys' thoughts down in the comments below. How do you feel about this new weapon? But that is it for you guys today. Again, I always appreciate you guys being here. I am Livin, and I'll catch you guys again later.